Welcome back to Thistle Hill Farmstead, everybody. Today we're going to be working on our John Deere Z920 mower again. I've developed a leak in my right hydro unit and I can't really tell where it's coming from. So the video today is going to be basically kind of troubleshooting that leak, see if I can find it, and if need be, removing that right side hydro unit and replacing the seal or the gasket, O-ring, whatever we need to do to fix that leak. So let's go. But here we go, there's the tire off. So, and you see how wet the underneath of that hydro unit is. So I want to drain the oil out of the unit here. Okay, there's one. There we go. There we go. Okay, and it's out. So now that I've got it out here in the sun, it looks like the oil that I see is coming. It's either coming out from underneath the pulley here, like from the input shaft, which I don't really see much oil through here. There's a lot of oil here, so it may be coming from around here, and I can see the shaft looks kind of loose here, so it may be coming from around the neutral shaft here. So I'm going to blow it off and see if I can clean it up a bit. I have a rag stuffed in the intake pipe here for the oil so I don't get anything down in it. But let's blow it off and then see if we can see what's happening. There we go. I think that's pretty good. Now we can take it and put it on the bench and kind of really look closely at it and see what what's going on. I'm sure this is going to be hard to see, but I did get the seals for this. I have number 21, which is the seal that goes underneath the input shaft. So I have that one. And then that shaft that is the neutral shaft really doesn't have a seal per se. It's number 28. It says it's an O-ring. So I did get O-ring, and there's actually two of them. So I did get those O-rings from Tough Torques to go there. And then the shaft that comes out for the control, forward and reverse, again, it has a thrust washer there. So I got that also here somewhere. I believe that's it there from Tough Torques. And then the only other seal is the axle seal, which I really don't need there. And then there's some more O-rings here, which I have additional O-rings. And then I have new O-rings for the input shaft where the oil actually comes down into the case. which I don't even see on here, but it's where the plastic piece comes in. So I have new O-rings for that. Here is another seal for one of the input shafts here. And then finally I have some new plugs that are upgraded ones that are metal instead of plastic. There's a cap or a plug that goes in here. So yeah, hopefully with all of that, we should be able to figure out what's going on with this and get the leak stopped. So now I've got the unit up on the bench here. I've got it kind of blown off and cleaned up a bit. So let's start taking it apart and see if we can figure out what's going on with it. So I'm going to take off this little spout here. This is where the hose comes in from the reservoir. That is a 13 millimeter. And this is where we should have two O-rings in here. Yeah, there's two O-rings right there. Let me wipe this off a little bit. I don't want anything getting down in there. Alright, and I'm going to just put a piece of tape or something across the top of this. So, well, actually what I may do is just stick this back down in there for the time being, so nothing gets down in the transmission. I'm going to wipe this off and just set it back down on there. But I do have the O-rings for it. We'll put those in. Now let's take this input shaft off. That is a 15 millimeter. Take the fan off rather, where the input shaft goes. That wasn't very tight. This should just lift off. Okay. And from what I understand, this is just pressed on. So I have a puller. Let me see if I can find my puller and we'll see if we can get that pulled off. Alright, I got my puller on here. Let's see if we can get this off. So I want to bend the pulley a little bit. Let's see if we can give her a whack. Yep, there we go. Okay. Yeah, we're starting to bend the underneath of the pulley just a little bit, but we can straighten that back out with no problem. Okay, there we go. All right, well that really doesn't look like it's been leaking there, because that's just packed full of, let me zoom in a little bit, because that's packed full of grass, if you can see that. So if it was leaking here, we would definitely see a lot of oil up here. So that looks good. So I'm not quite sure where the oil is coming from. So since that's not leaking, I'm not going to mess with that, because to dig that thing out and replace it when it's not leaking is not worth it. Now again, it looks like the oil It's coming from right in there somewhere, but there's nothing there. So unless there's a crack in the case, but we'll just have to take a look. Let me clean some of this up, and then we can get a closer look at it. Let me show you how I'm going to fix this little kind of ripple that we got in the pulley when we took it out. You can see that I've set it on the table so you can see just right here. That's where the puller was on it. So I just got it clamped down to my bench, and I'm just going to tap it back down. And just flatten it back out. Okay, that looks good. Now I just slide it around a little bit to where the other one was. Let's see. Yeah, right there. A little bit of a dimple in it there. And we'll just tap her back down. Okay, that looks nice. And then we have another one. Yeah, right there. So those were the 3 places that the puller was resting on it. These pulleys are just lightweight metal, so they're not that strong. That's why we can just kind of bend them back into shape, and it should be fine. Okay, that should get it. Now we just kind of spin it around on the table. You can see that it's pretty well flat. Got a little bit of a bend here. Not quite sure what that came from, but I can fix that one also. Just got to hang it over the table a little bit and tap on that. But yeah, there we go. It's all cleaned up now. So down in here is where I was seeing the oil. So now that it's all cleaned up, I think what I'll do is fill it back up with oil and see if I can see where it's leaking, where the oil's coming out. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's just some more oil or grease or dirt that's on there. Ooh, looked like maybe. So I don't think the case is cracked anywhere. Don't know how it would have got cracked up there. I want to think it's probably leaking out of here. But because it leaks when it's sitting still, it doesn't have to be running to leak. So I'm going to fill it up with oil. Maybe even put the reservoir on it so that it's actually, the oil level is higher than the whole transmission, and then just see where the oil's coming from. First thing I'm going to do is replace the O-rings that go around this little pipe that feeds the oil in. I have the O-rings from John Deere, and the number is M8044 Z920m. And there's two of them per little thing. I went ahead and bought four because I didn't know if I would need to do the other side. I think I might, since I have that reservoir out anyway. The other side's not leaking. Okay, so I just want to slide these on here like that. Okay, that feels nice. Here are the old ones. Now they didn't look too bad, but who knows. I'm not going to take this thing out and take the time to take it out and then not replace something as simple as the O-ring. Just going to put a little bit of oil from these other O-rings on here just to make them slide in easy. There we go. And then we'll put our bolt back in. This is a it's got a collar on it so that you don't tighten down too tight on this piece of plastic and break it. That's nice, because if it can be broken, I'll break it. Nope. What did I do with my socket? Here it is. 13mm. Okay, that's good enough, because really it's not the pressure between here and the case that's sealing, it's those O-rings, and those should be fine. So I am going to go get the reservoir now off of the mower. I'm going to put it back on, and I'm going to fill that bad boy up and fill this back up, the whole transmission. And I'm going to see if I can see where it is leaking. Well, I have the reservoir off, and I thought about putting this all together and filling this up so that I would have positive pressure here. But I think this tube would be high enough. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll put it all back together just to make sure that there's some positive pressure on it. And if it's leaking anywhere, we can see where it's leaking. Thought this was neat. This has like a little metal bushing inside of these plastic pieces. That's good to keep it from keep it from being squished. Let's pop this on there, and actually turn this over. Now I just need to get something to plug this side off here, and then I'll be able to put some oil in it. Don't have to fill it all the way up. If I fill it up to about here, that'll give me some positive pressure on the rest of the unit, and we'll see if we get any leaks out. I'm ready to put some oil back in it. Now I found just a plug or a cap to go over that. So that'll keep that capped off. These are all tight. And let's put some oil in it. See what we get. Okay, so I got me some good high guard here. Low vis. And get me a funnel. Okay. Let's see what kind of mess we can make. Interesting sound. Quack, 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 quack. Okay, so it's pulling some bubbles out now. Turn the now it's just a waiting game. Let me put the cap back on here. Let me prop this up under here so there's not any weight on it. And we'll see if we see any oil come out of this thing. Alright guys, so I've had the unit sitting here now for 2 days with it oil in it, and I am seeing no leaks anywhere around any of these shafts. And the only thing that I replaced, you'll remember in earlier that when I put this on, I did put new O-rings, the new O-rings on here. So I'm beginning to wonder if this thing was leaking underneath the O-ring here and running down into this little area here, because this seemed to be where the oil was puddling here and running around and down, and it was all in this. So I wasn't sure if it was running out of the seal and running down, or if it was coming from somewhere else or coming out from around this neutral or engagement disengagement lever. But it may have been coming from under here, because now I don't have any leakage anywhere. So what I'm going to do is I put my nut back on here, and I've got a 15 millimeter socket. I'm going to spin this a little bit and just run it and see if that produces any leaks, because it has been sitting here. However, before it would leak when it was just sitting still. So again, that kind of tells me that it may be this seal here, because you just had the gravity feed from that little reservoir there. So let's see what we can do with spinning it around. So like I said, I've got my 15 millimeter socket here on my drill, and I'm going to spin this, and if you watch the output shaft here, you'll see it, hopefully we'll see it work. I've got it in gear here. This is the park brake, so it's obviously off because I don't have anything connected. And when I spin it, this will be the lever that controls the forward and reverse motion of the axle. So let's see what we get here. Okay, well that worked. I hope that gave you a little demo of how the transmission works. Now that I've spun it a little bit, I'll let it sit a little bit more and see if anything leaks. Now that wasn't a whole lot of spinning, but it was enough to spin the pump, which then again drives the other items. So maybe with the pump spinning and developing a little bit of pressure, if it's going to leak anywhere else around any of these other inputs, then that'll cause it to do it. Okay, everybody, success, I guess. It is now leaking. Can you see the oil? See that, the oil bubbles around this. So this neutral lever is what is leaking, or where the oil is coming out. So I guess running it a bit yesterday and putting some pressure on it caused it to start to seep out. So you can see how wet that is around there. So I do have the O-rings for that. I believe that is right here, number 28. There's 2 of them, and I did get those O-rings. So number 28 O-ring. Okay. And so that is these 2 little O-rings here. So I guess I need to now figure out how to take that out. It looks like it just has a pin in it, so I can get that pin out somehow, lift this top piece off, and see how to get those O-rings in there. So that is some order of success. At least I know where it's leaking now. I don't really see any oil over here or any around this main seal. I've already replaced this cap with a new cap. So it all looks good except right here. And that I will replace. Okay, everyone, I think I'll end this video right here. We're at about the 30-minute mark, and pick up on the next video where we will remove this little lever and replace the O-rings and see if we can get this leak repaired. And as always, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out a lot. And remember to subscribe and ring that bell notification so that next time I post the video, you'll get notified. Thanks for watching.